Alrighty guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to color correct the EVO 2 log footage in under 30 seconds using my correction LUT. Let's get started. What's good guys? Welcome back. Ken here with Original Dobo, and today's video we're talking about color correction for the EVO 2 log footage. Now this works on the EVO 2 Pro or the EVO 2 8K, so it doesn't matter which drone you have. This LUT is universal between the two. You just may need to adjust your saturation. In order to utilize my LUT, you do need to go ahead and set your saturation level to +3, and you want to expose just slightly more than the middle. But if you're in the middle, that works just as well. What I've found is exposing too far to the right or overexposed is harder to recover some of the details on the EVO 2 A log. So let's go ahead and jump into Premiere Pro. By the way, this will work with either Premiere Pro or Final Cut, as long as you have something that can import 3D LUTs into your NLE. Alrighty, so here's a shot that I felt like had a lot of green. And if I go ahead and apply the LUT from Autel, so this is Autel's Rec 709 LUT, their A log to Rec 709. And you can see there's a lot of cyan in this shot. Specifically, if you look at this dome is silver. There shouldn't be any blue there. And even if we adjust the shadows and everything in the shot, you know, it doesn't look bad. This shot wasn't bad, but this right here definitely has a cyan shift. So if I'm gonna reset this here, and now I'll apply my LUT to the screen here. And bam, so mine is a little bit more desaturated, and I did this intentionally because as I bring the shadows down and bring the highlights down, and you should be watching your scopes, by the way. Let's bring this exposure down a little bit, and let's add a little bit of saturation. And the saturation is going to be arbitrary because you can add it to whatever you like. We'll bring these highlights down just a little bit more and maybe bump the shadows up, but add a little more contrast to the shot, something like that. You can see there is really no cyan shift. And again, it's easy for that to happen because there is a lot of green in the shot. And that brick is more true to life here than just about anywhere else. And if I want to white balance this, all I have to do is find something white in the image, like right here. This is white. And you can see that that's pretty darn good, actually. So that is the first scene. So again, the whole thing is you want to eliminate that cyan shift. Let's jump over to another scene that I felt was really tough. Here was the scene where you had the bridge. There was some orange, and I mean, again, way overexposed here. You can see on the histogram, it's overexposed. The luminance are over 100, which we don't want. If I apply the Autel LUT to it, and let's go ahead and apply the A-log LUT, you can see we're automatically losing a lot of data in the sky. Even if I try to bring this back by really lowering down the highlights and the shadows and everything, I just feel like we're getting a cyan shift on the water here, and it just doesn't look all that appealing. I hate the way the skies look. I don't think that looks really natural. So let's go ahead and apply my LUT here, and really super simple. Apply, bam, there we go. So again, using the same highlights and everything from the LUT that I used for Autel, you can see we got a lot more detail in the sky, and I can go ahead and add a little bit of saturation to this if I wanted to, which I think looks really good. You can see the water is sort of brown. It's not the most pleasing water, but that's what it looked like true to life. So the LUT that I've created definitely resolves a lot of these issues. Again, if you expose correctly for your shot, which would be in the center where you want the information basically mostly in the center, I think you'll have a good experience with this LUT. Even if you overexpose, I've designed the LUT to be able to bring back some of that data like you can see right here. Let's go ahead and jump over to another image here. Here's an image where I expose directly in the center. How do I know that we exposed properly? Well, if we look, nothing is peaking really over 90 and nothing's really below 10. So we have a lot of good information to work with. If I simply just grab my LUT from, actually, let's go ahead and apply the first one. We'll apply Autel's LUT. I'll apply Autel's LUT, and it just right out of the way, right out of the gate. I just don't think that this is a good starting point for beginners. I just don't think that's a good starting point. There's a lot of work that needs to happen here. But if you apply my LUT now, I'll just apply mine. You can see that, again, this is more true to life. And I'll bring the shadows down a little bit, and I can actually bring the highlights up a little more on this particular image, again, nothing's peaking over 100, and I'll give it a little bit more saturation. But look at the blues. The blues are so much more appealing because they don't have that green tint to it. Now, how did I make my LUT specifically? Well, I used a color card in which I used to sort of dial in the hues and saturation of the different colors. So I found where in the log footage, there was a high intensity of like a turquoise tint to the footage for some reason in the color science. So what the LUT is designed to do is sort of offset that and dial that back without you having to go through all the different hues on your own. So that is how I built my LUT. I didn't build it out off of this scene. I built it off of a color correction chart and based off of 5700 Kelvin value light and the EVO 2 Pro. So that's what I based my LUT off of. So it's a great starting point and it'll get you like more than halfway there. Again, you can tweak this to your own liking, but I think that looks good. Here's a LUT situation where this image was crazy overblown. You can see it's well over 100. If I applied the LUT from Autel, the A-Log, this is the LUT from Autel. And even if we try to save this shot, I mean, it just doesn't look all that appealing. Even if I bring everything way down, highlights way down, maybe try to bring that up. I mean, even if I tried to give it more saturation, the A-LUT just totally ruined this shot. Again, look at the buildings. The buildings have like this cyan tint to it. Even here, you can see some degradation starting to happen. So let's go ahead and try the LUT I created. And I'm going to go to the correction LUT, and you can see right out of the gate, the buildings look entirely different. We actually got some data back in the sky here. This back building here, the PNC Bank building, doesn't look so broken, I guess. And I can actually add a little more saturation here. And again, that just looks a lot more pleasing to the eye without all that cyan there. Let's go ahead and flip to probably the last one, which is this over the road by City Hall. Again, I'm going to apply the LUT directly from Autel. And this is the LUT directly from Autel. Again, we're exposing in the middle, but you see when we apply the LUT, it really drops the blacks down, and you got to sort of bring the blacks up almost to where they're not clipping down here at the bottom. But I mean, this is acceptable. This is acceptable. But let's try it with the LUT I created. And you can see that everything just looks much more natural. That is the true white balance of the image. That is the color of the buildings. If I turn this off and on, you can see the sky even looks a lot more pleasing. It's almost cinematic-ish. And if I wanted to, now at this point, I have a good baseline. I can go ahead and take this and go ahead and apply LUT. I'm going to apply the drive LUT, which I really like. I'm going to dial that back to like 30% and on, off. If I take the LUT off, that's what it's like. And it's just slightly adjusting the hues. So my LUT is not a stylistic look. It's just going to get those colors back to where they should be accurately. And yeah, there you go. So give this a try. Let me know how it works for you. I hope that this is a good explanation. Just know that when you do expose for the log footage, have your histogram up. Don't shoot in automatic and don't shoot in any sort of aperture priority. You want to shoot in manual when you're utilizing log. And again, with the EVO 1, overexposing slightly gave me better results. But with the EVO 2, I think the log footage is actually so good, you don't really need to overexpose to save information. It's not like a DSLR camera like my Sony where I have to overexpose. Just exposing in the center will be able to give you a lot of information and hopefully not ruin any of your shots. I hope this helps because I know the EVO 2 log footage is really difficult to work with. And if this makes your life easier, you can download it in the description below, 100% completely free. And I'm always open to feedback. I'll talk to you soon. Stay original.